We maintain a healthy dissatisfaction with our current spiritual status. We make up our minds that we are going to have a wholehearted devotion to the Lord, that our relationship with the Lord is going to be the number one chief aim in our lives, our top priority. And then we have to have a forward and a upward direction in our lives. You see, Paul says, I'm forgetting those things behind and I'm reaching to what lies before. Our lives have to start taking a forward and an upward direction, that every day I'm taking a step closer to God. Every day is a step closer to heaven. As they once said, every day in every way, I'm becoming more and more like Jesus. That every day I'm striving to have small, incremental growth, if you will. It's all right if you want to take 10 steps or 1,000 steps, but at least every day I'm inching my way to heaven. That's the direction I'm going in. And you see, if we're going to have that forward and upward direction in our lives, it's necessary that we do three things. That we let go, that we look up, and there's some things we got to lay aside. You see, there's some things we have to let go of, and in particular, we have to let go of the past. Paul says, I'm forgetting those things that are behind me. And you see, some of us cannot move forward in our walk with the Lord. Some of us cannot move forward in this Christian race because we're striving to go forward while looking in the rearview mirror. And I don't know if you've ever tried to drive your car while looking in your rearview mirror, but that's not something I would recommend that you do. Accidents happen that way. When you're striving to go forward and you're focused on what's behind you, it's very easy to drive your car into a ditch. And that's what happens to some of us as Christians, is that we're striving to go forward, but we're shackled to the past. We're shackled to the mistakes and the failures of the past. Some of us are shackled to the hurts and the mistreatments of the past. And I can tell you this, some of the greatest hurt I've ever had came at the hands of brethren. And it can hurt. I wish I could tell you that my spiritual resume was squeaky clean. No mistakes, no shortcomings, no failures, no things I'd like to take back. I could tell you that, but you know what? I'd be lying. Some of us, there are some things that we would love to eradicate and erase from our memories. Some of us would love to be able to press rewind and have a do-over, but we just can't go back. I wish we could, but we can't. And so what do we do with the past? I tell you what we do. We do our best to learn from it. What can I learn from this situation that can help me to be better going forward? It may be necessary for me to say that I'm sorry, to look to repair some relationships, that if I've wronged my brother or my brother has wronged me, I'll take the first step to bring about reconciliation. We learn from it. We make what we can right if we can, and then we've got to move on. We've got to let go of the past by living for the future. And the best way to live for the future is to live faithfully right now. We let go, and then we've got to look up. You see, some of us, we get discouraged and we don't move forward because we're too busy looking around, looking at other people, what they are doing or are not doing. We get so busy looking at everything on social media and in the news. And I'm telling you, if you spend too much time looking around, it's hard not to be depressed. And so the Christian has to look up. The Christian has to keep his mind's eye focused on heaven. The Christian has to begin to understand that I have to live in view of eternity. And so that every decision, every move I make is seen through that lens. Is this going to help me to become more like Jesus? Is this decision going to move me closer and closer to heaven or to the opposite direction? After all, didn't Paul say, if you then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are where? Above. Where Christ sits on the right hand of God the Father Almighty. He says, set your affection, set your heart, set your focus on things above. And not on the things of this earth. For where's our life? Our life is hid with God in Christ. We let go. We look up. And then there's some things we just have to lay aside. And the primary thing we have to lay aside is sin. We consider what the Hebrews writer says in Hebrews 12 and verse number 1. After going through what we often refer to as Faith's Hall of Fame in chapter 11, he says, wherefore seeing that we are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, every encumbrance, and the sin which doth so easily ensnare us. And let us run with patience the race that's set before us. And what's weighing many Christians down is sin. I've known brothers and sisters that you can look them in the eyes and you can see that Satan's having a field day with them. And they can keep up appearances for a little while. But one thing, I don't know if you've ever run in a weighted vest. You may be able to go for a while with some zest. But after a while, that weight gets heavy. And it's going to slow you down if you're running. That run's going to go from a sprint to a jog, to a walk, to a stand, to a sit, until you're out of the race. You're no longer running. And we'll never, ever be our best for the Lord if there's unchecked sin in our lives.